Hi, my name's Colin and this is the Action Figure Resource video channel, the place for all your action figure news, reviews, tutorials and guides. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you enjoy my videos. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Kenner Batman Returns wave of vehicles released in 1992. This includes the reissued and re-released Batmobile, the Batmobile Batmissile, the all-terrain Batskiboat, the Turbojet Batwing, the Bruce Wayne Custom Coupe, the Laser Blade, Robin's Jetfoil, Skyblade, Skydrop, Penguin's Umbrella Jet, and also the variant Cameo attack Batmobile. The Batmobile and Batwing Turbojet featured in the Batman Returns line were exactly the same as the Dark Knight collection vehicles, except in Batman Returns packaging. As already mentioned, the Batmobile and the Batwing Turbojet were re-released and reissued in the Batman Returns line with new packaging. The Batmobile in the Batman Returns packaging sells for between $300 and $860. Loose, it sells for between $90 and $150. The re-released Batwing Turbojet in the Batman Returns packaging sells mint in the box for between $50 and $290 and loose for between $40 and $90. The first vehicle we're going to look at today is the Batman Returns Batmissile Batmobile. Before that, please take a few seconds to subscribe below, smash that like button, and click on the bell icon. When you click on the bell icon, please ensure you select all from the drop-down menu to be notified of all my future videos.
ActionFigureResource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.
The Batmissile vehicle was one of the coolest and best Batmobiles that Kenner ever released for their Batman line. The packaging was as different to the original packaging as the car was itself to the original. It was quite a bit larger than the first Batmobile, and the canopy opened a lot easier, allowing easy access for Batman to sit inside. No more needing to just pretend that he was driving as with the original. Instead of the two rotating gun turrets that the Dark Knight collection Batmobile had, this one had two hidden spring-loaded rocket launchers that popped up on either side of the vehicle at the touch of a button and came armed with yellow rockets that could be fired from it. At first, this looks very similar to the regular Batmobile. However, at the push of a button behind the canopy, the vehicle's sides fell off to reveal the Batmissile. What was pretty cool about this is that Kenner even put detailing and stickers on the inside of the side panels, so when they popped off, they would still look the part. The only real downside with this was that there was a lack of detail in the cockpit. Some decals like the Toy Biz Batmobile would have been nice here. That said, the rest of the Batmissile had plenty of detail on the vehicle. Also, it would have been a nice touch if it had had the flame effect on the exhaust as the Dark Knight Batmobile had. Mint in the box, this sells for between $150 and $329. Loose, it sells for between $50 and $150. Next is the all-terrain Batskiboat. The Batskiboat came in a solid box featuring some of Kenner's excellent artwork on the front of the packaging, showing the Batskiboat shooting across water like a bullet from a gun. The packaging featured the red, blue and purple colour scheme Kenner used for the Batman Returns line. The sides of the box showed the Batskiboat in its two different modes, its water mode and ski mode. The back of the packaging showed off the other figures and vehicles in this line. In boat mode, it had a very slick all-black look with rocket launchers on either side of the canopy. There was a lot of detail moulded into the sculpting of this vehicle. Many kids would try to fold up the legs on its wings, which couldn't be done. Thereby, these were often completely broken off. The canopy at the back opens up, and the Batman figure can easily be fitted inside. However, as was often the case, the hinges on the canopy were very fragile, and it is common to find this broken or the canopy completely missing. Inside, the canopy had a detailed dashboard. On either side of the canopy, there were spring-loaded missile launchers that were fired by pressing a button on either side. To change it into snow mode, the tips of the wings were flipped up and underneath a single and double ski could be flipped down. At the back of the vehicle was a spinning turbo flame similar to that on the Dark Knight Collection Batmobile. This vehicle was often overlooked. However, I think this is one of the better vehicles that was released by Kenner. Mint in a box, this sells for between $25 and $110, and loose for around $20. Next is the Bruce Wayne Custom Coupe. As well as all his Batman gadgets and vehicles, Batman also needed to get around when he was Bruce Wayne and not Batman. So Kenner released his custom coupe. This was a two-door black sports car that came with a variant Bruce Wayne figure dressed in a blue polo neck and black trousers. The windshield or canopy opened and Bruce Wayne could sit inside. However, looks could be deceiving as this was no simple coupe and had some special features. The wheels were plastic rather than rubber and had silver painted hubs. This was the first time Kenner released this vehicle, but it was also re-released for a later Batman line, and it was also included in the Spider-Man line. The spoiler on the tailgate at the back of the car could be pulled back, and Bruce Wayne inside the car would be transformed into Batman. Pulling back on the tailgate also revealed a missile launcher on either side of the car for added protection. The effect of Bruce Wayne transforming into Batman was achieved by using two figures and a slider that was activated by pulling out the spoiler on the tailgate. There was a hidden compartment where you could place the Batman figure. This was covered by the car's floor, so when Bruce Wayne was sitting in the car, you could not see the Batman figure. However, when you pulled back spoiler on the tailgate, Bruce Wayne was pulled into the trunk of the car to reveal the Batman figure underneath. The car also came with 2 front headlights and tail brake lights. The car itself was pretty basic and plain looking, but the quick change was a great feature. The sides of the doors could also be opened to reveal a hidden weapon compartment. The missile launchers on either side of the car could be tilted to different angles to target Batman's elusive villains. Despite its excellent features, this vehicle, I believe, is fairly underpriced. Mint in the box, it sells for $5 to $70 and loose for as cheap as $1 to around the $30 mark. Next is the Laser Blade. Laser Blade was a fast motorcycle-like vehicle for Batman. The Laser Blade packaging featured Kenner's usual classic artwork, with Laser Batman flying the laser blade on the front and images of the other figures and vehicles on the reverse. Within the packaging, the laser blade came in a plastic clear baggie with an instruction sheet, decal stickers, and a small pocket-sized catalogue featuring the other lines released by Kenner. Laser Blade was a sleek, black, powerful bike, similar in style to the modern-day power bikes you see. The bike's steering was controlled by a computer-operated console at the front of the bike, which was a detailed decal sticker. There was enough space here to fit Batman in a semi-lying position. Not only was this a very cool, sleek and powerful bike, but at the touch of a button, its 2 folded wings would flip down, ready for Batman to take flight and continue his high-speed pursuit in the air. Each of the Laser Blade's wings also had a bat emblem on them, and there was a large bat-shaped projectile attached to the undercarriage of the vehicle that could be released and dropped onto Batman's enemies. To give the bike a little colour, there were some chrome stickers for the side panels of the bike. The bike had 3 wings, 2 at the front and 1 at the back. The Laser Blade jet bike was reminiscent of the Batcycle, with a great looking design and plenty of detail. Despite being very simplistic with few features, this was a great fun vehicle to play with. Mint in the box, it sells for between $11.50 and $33. Loose, it sells for between $3 to $24. The next vehicle is Robin's Jetfoil. As Batman's partner, it only seemed fair that Robin should also get at least one really cool vehicle to play with, and this was his Jetfoil. The front of the packaging featured a really cool artist's impression of Robin riding the Jetfoil cycle. The Jetfoil had a dark green body with a red steering column that lifted up from the main body when in use. This also had Robin's R-shaped logo on it. At the front of the Jetfoil is a firing mechanism that could be loaded with yellow plastic bat-shaped missile. This was actually quite a powerful missile launcher and could fire the missile quite some distance. The main body of the Jetfoil was quite well moulded, with a fair amount of detail on it. When looking at this vehicle from an angle, you could see that it was actually shaped as a bat. Robin could be posed either in a standing or a sitting position. If he was posed in a standing position, there was room for another figure behind him. Although this was technically a water vehicle, it came with 2 wheels underneath, so with a little imagination, it could also be used as a road vehicle. Mint in a box, this sells for between $5.50 and $47, and loose for between $12 and $20. Next we have the Skyblade. Skyblade was like a mini one-man helicopter for Batman. It was a black winged vehicle with yellow propellers. The copter had a ripcord that when pulled ejected Batman's seat and sent him flying through the air. Next we have the Skydrop vehicle. The Skydrop vehicle was an intimidating black airship that had purple fins and wheels. There was a compartment on the ship's belly where you could hide Batman and attach him to a handlebar with some cord. Then you simply pushed a button and Batman came exploding into action from out of the airship's belly, dropping down to dispense justice onto his unexpected enemies below. At the end of a successful mission, you could wind the cord as shown on the bot to get Batman back into the airship and ready for his next mission. Mint in a box, this sells for between $15 and $36. Loose, it sells for between $9 and $15. Next, and the only vehicle for the Penguin, is the Penguin Umbrella Jet. The Penguin Umbrella Jet looked exactly like something that Penguin would fly around in. It was mostly painted red with wings shaped like umbrellas, and there were umbrellas that could be rotated on the undercarriage of the wings. The Penguin could be sat in the cockpit and control the jet as it flew around, spraying knockout gas from the sprinklers on the underside of the wings. When stationary, the jet stood on 2 umbrella-shaped landing skis. The packaging, along with the other vehicles in this line, had some excellent artwork featuring the Penguin flying jovially around in his jet. The reverse of the box had photos of the other vehicles and figures in the line. Mint in a box, this sells for between $15 and $80. Loose for between $13 and $31. The last vehicle in this line we're looking at is the variant Cameo Attack Batmobile. The Cameo Attack Batmobile was a repainted version of the Dark Knight Collection Batmobile and had a black and white cameo design to it. It had all the same features as the original Batmobile. There was a bulletproof cockpit for Batman, a pop-out spinning exhaust flame, pop-up side guns, and a launching turbo missile at the front. However, this vehicle also came with a bonus Batman figure, which the original did not have. Mint in the box, this sells for around the $200 mark and loose for around $160. I searched many auction sites and retail sites and I could only find one of these for sale. So this seems to be extremely rare and hard to find, particularly mint in the box. Please note, all prices quoted in this video are for informational purposes only and are not an offer or solicitation to buy any of the vehicles at these prices. When researching this video, I checked several online and offline auction and retail sites in order to find the best prices available. Don't forget to check my other Batman videos on the playlist here. Please take the time to subscribe below, smash that like button, and click on the bell icon to be informed of all my future videos. When you click on the bell icon, select all from the drop-down menu.
Welcome to the best action figure guide in the world, the largest database of action figures on the internet with 60,000 plus individual vintage action figures listed, including Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles, and many, many more. Each toy listing has information on its release date, the manufacturer, product number, its rarity, and the historical value of the toy. Available of our special limited time beta discount of 70% and get a full year subscription for only $14.99. Join now.
actionfigureresource.com. Yesterday's toys, today's treasures.